been out shooting for several hours today. Oh my god, yes, I was out shooting today. I think people think that I sit behind the computer all the time. Everybody else actually, they love to make videos of themselves out shooting. Why? How about you just go out and either do the work or enjoy your photography? I make some videos when I'm out doing stuff, but anyway, I was out shooting with the X-T2 today. I've had the X-T2 now for, what has it been, a little bit over a month now? Specifications versus reality. Now I've got a couple X-T2s. I've put, not this one, actually I have my other X-T2 out today. I had the 50 to 140 today and the 23mm f2. I'm glad that people were buying the 23mm f2 off my recommendation. I've seen a few video reviews and people are extremely happy with it. They were noticing that the 23mm f2 had a little bit of distortion relative to the 35, which is to be expected. I mean, it is a 23mm lens. The two are not comparable. Everything changes, as I've said, like 1,000 times in 1,000 videos at the line of demarcation at roughly 28mm. Some say 35, I say it's 28mm. 23mm certainly falls below that. Specifications versus reality. A lot of people that don't know anything about photography or have owned a lot of cameras, and I've owned a lot of cameras. By the way, my track record, I've called 2 cameras this year, because there were 2, to be legendary cameras and that the sales would go through the roof. I was absolutely right on both counts. I talked about the X-T2, although I didn't use the word legendary. I said that Fuji would sell just the bejesus out of it, and they have. People are actually slightly upset at the fact that they can't get an X-T2 because the demand is so high, and you know, Fuji's spitting them out, but everybody's gobbling them up. I also said that about the Nikon D500. It was proven 100% correct. Nikon just hit it out of the ballpark like Superman with the Nikon D500. I attacked the Nikon D5. Oh, that's Nikon's flagship camera. That can't be a bad camera. I have not seen one single credible glowing review. I mean, I really cannot recall any glowing reviews of the Nikon. I've seen a lot of people recently say, I bought this Nikon D5, I wish I hadn't, I've traded it off for something else. Someone actually traded it off for the X-T2. That camera has not been praiseworthy. I mean, it's dull, lifeless. It has an anti-aliasing filter at 20 megapixels, which is the same count as a Nikon D500. Nikon D500 has the same autofocus tracking system as a D5. So every camera that I mentioned this year, I mean the cameras that I said would be duds, the Canon 5D Mark IV, it's been a total dud. It's went over like a lead balloon. The Nikon D5 I said was a dud. Exactly right. There's been not a peak of, you know, oh my god, this camera's incredible. There's not. It's not been the case. Just the opposite's actually been the case. Even a DP review of their own independent testing. Now, I don't like the photography forums there for many reasons, but they themselves says it has the worst dynamic range of any Nikon DSLR made. Or did they say of any professional DSLR ever made, period? Is one of the two, and of course they're correct. Specifications. Now, this harkens back to translating an ancient Pali passage, or translating ancient Prakrit from some 2,500 years ago. Specifications. When do specifications not matter? A lot of people love specifications on a camera that they think are wonderful. Now, we have to talk about the art versus the artifice. Now, art, in the case of the camera, I'm not talking about what it produces, but the art of how it was designed. Some things have unique, incredible designs that don't show up on specification charts. Specification list. It's got so many megapixels, it does this, it does that, 8 frames per second. There are a lot of things that don't show up on specification charts. After a month of in-depth use of the Fuji X-T2, it is an incredible camera. I know it took me a long time to reach that in this particular video talking about the X-T2. It is incredible. Now, getting back to the Pali passage, there's a 2,700-year-old passage I translated from the ancient Prakrit, and it talks about art versus the artifice. Now, art and artifice is something in so far as philosophical ontology that the Greeks mastered, but simply being the art of what something is, which cannot be quantified, versus the ARTIFICE, which can be quantified. This is an ARTIFICE made out of magnesium with dials and X frames per second, blah, blah, blah. That's the specification sheet. Now, what if I were to tell you, and this is from an ancient 2,500-year-old, 2,600, it could be 2,600 years ago, Prakert passage that I translated ages ago. A very wise person asked a group of people, it said, "There's the most beautiful woman in the land, but everybody wanted to be with this person." You could infer what that means, but now she is unchanged and nobody wants to be with her. She is untouchable. She is undesirable by anybody. This person looks and is exactly the same as she was, I think the ancient Prakert passage says, a few days before, when everybody wanted to be with this beautiful woman. Date her, etc., etc. What is the difference? And this gets into art versus ARTIFICE. Well, the difference is that she's exactly as beautiful as she was a few days before. She's exactly as tall. She's everything. She's exactly as beautiful as she was a few days before. But now she's dead. Now, there might be some strange people out there that might find very, very, very few strange people. The point being is that dead person has no difference in the ARTIFICE, the beauty, the quantifiable factors of what she is when she was alive versus, people love it when I shake my table and make the computer jiggle. People are like, "Oh God, just whatever you do, don't shake the table and make your computer jiggle. I hate it when you do that." Okay, that's for you people. There we go. There's no difference between that person in ARTIFICE when she was alive than when she was dead. That is the point of wisdom that people don't get. Now, people that I radically don't agree with that write books on Nikon, they've agreed with me on this point. And people that have owned a lot of cameras, okay, will tell you you cannot go off the specification sheet of a camera. You cannot. And they can't define what it is. And what it is, as it is defined, is art versus the ARTIFICE. The art of how this was designed, the engineering, the layout, the ergonomics, the unquantifiable things which cannot be written as 5 plus 10, the square root of so. This camera has 10 frames per second, it's got 16 megapixels, blah, 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 blah. Great, that's all wonderful. That will tell me stuff about this camera. There are a lot of stuff that are not on the specification sheet that cannot be told on the specification sheet. They can only be told through realizing the art or the lack thereof of what the camera is. The X-T2 is exquisite. The things that people were bitching about on the X-T1, they fixed. They weren't things to be fixed that were broken. They were ergonomic issues and design issues. So the actual art of this camera is wonderful. The ARTIFICE of this camera, it's made in Japan, magnesium alloy, very reliable, wonderful. There are two aspects to every lens. There's art and ARTIFICE. People don't realize that. They go, "Hey, it's good. This new Sony camera's got it's got in-body image, it's got 10-axis stabilization, even stabilizes in a parallel dimension. And it's got 5 stops of in-body image." Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got by for 20 years without any image stabilization. Image stabilization is wonderful. Do you know what that specification won't tell you? Does it overheat? Is it reliable? Is it crap? Does the company repair that camera itself? And the answer to that one is no. They do not repair that camera. They outsource it to a camera company that I will leave unnamed, that has the most horrible, most atrocious, disgusting feedback that I've ever seen of anybody. If, like, people sold a soda drink that had broken glass in it, and people were like, "Oh my God, this cut my throat when I drank," the feedback could not get any worse than this company that repairs and services the cameras for Sony. That horrible. They outsource it. They don't fix their own cameras. That does not show up on a specification sheet. Anyway, this video is about the X-T2, but I want you to realize the difference between art and ARTIFICE, okay? The ARTIFICE of what this camera is, it's megapixels, it's frame per second, tracking speed, blah, 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 that's wonderful. And on that, the ARTIFICE of this camera is exquisite. The art of this camera The same difference between, what's the difference between, so you say you got two twins, they're both gorgeous hot chicks. I guess this is going back to the ancient Prakrit passage that I translated from the Magadha Valley. Yeah, I translate ancient Prakrit, also known as Pali. Very tough language. It's been a dead language now for ages. It's been a dead language for a long time. Tough to translate. Not for me. I get a special gift on translating languages. What's the difference between the live girl and the dead girl? They're both just as beautiful. They're both the same height. This person died of a disease. 3 days later, everybody wanted to be with this girl. 3 days later, nobody, if you pushed all the money in the world on them, would want to, What's the difference? It's exactly the same. Artifice. Specification sheets only tell you so much about any camera or any lens. This lens is awesome. It is a 100mm f1.4 with the zero distortion, zero chromatic. Yeah, but what about the art of what it produces? It turns out that particular lens, I'm not talking about any lens in particular here, like the 105 f1.4 Nikkor, the new one, which sucks. Yeah, that is really nice. It is a fast lens. It is a sharp lens. It has low chromatic aberration. That is all wonderful. The only problem is that the bandwidth, the colors are desaturated. You have to manipulate them on the computer. The lens sucks. That is a very beautiful girl. Very, very beautiful. That lens is a beautiful girl, except she's dead. That lens has no soul. Well, there is no such thing as a soul. Yeah, you know what? You see this radio over here? What's the difference between this radio and another radio just like it? Well, this one's got batteries in it, You see when you got batteries in it? This battery's got a soul. Really? This battery's got excuse me. This radio's got a soul? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. No, has a soul? No. You see, the signal is not incident within this radio. A person no more has a soul than there is a signal in this radio. There are also not little people inside the television set. Okay? Art and artifice. I know a lot of stuff out there that people don't know. Okay? I may be fat and bald. I'm certainly fat and bald. But stupid, I am not one of them. Okay? Now, I can lose weight really quickly, as I've proven in the past, if you look at some of my earlier videos. But stupid is permanent. I can lose weight really fast. He's fat and bald. I don't like him. Yeah, but he's pretty smart. Yeah, but he's fat. I can lose weight. You'll be stupid forever. Art versus artifice. Learn the difference. This is the crap that you were never taught in school, which is really, really important. If you had a classical education and you're a really, really rich person, your kid would have learned this in the 16th, 17th, 15th century. You would have learned this. Like, you're really rich, your kid would have learned this crap. But not anymore. No, important stuff is not taught anymore. Yes, we have de-evolution of human society. Thanks for watching. Bye.